Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today I'm continuing on my mission of getting all of my cold hardy bonsais displayed out for the spring, summer, and fall. Wherever I put them now is where they will remain. The less cold hardy trees I have to kind of leave huddled up and even possibly bring in on Tuesday because we're going to get 29 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a few degrees below freezing. So depending on that day, I may just cover them with a sheet and then put them in under the tarp in the greenhouse and protect them that way. And there's Carl. He will not stop cockadoodle doing because it's finally spring and he wants to let everybody know that. Anyways, while I continue on this mission, the mail truck pulled up and I got a package from my buddy Jay in a neighboring state, New York. He said he was going to send me a few things, so I'm really excited to unboxing that, and I'm going to share all that with y'all. And then after, hopefully I'll at least have something to show you as far as what my plan is for my tree display for the season. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, y'all. So here's the box from Jay. Been working on and off outside, trying to get organized. I would call it an epic fail, but it's been a lot of fun. Okay, so heard some stuff rattling around in here. I'm hoping that the post office didn't just shake it all up. I'm doing my best outside to get all of the evergreens in one section, and it's like I have just not enough room, so we'll see what I can configure. Ooh, a rooted sarissa. If you haven't grown sarissas, they are very finicky. That's what I've heard across the board, and I bought one my first year here at the ranch at a bonsai nursery, and it didn't take long for me to kill it. So it was a Mount Fuji variegated sarissa that didn't even make it a season. So I might have a video on it, but definitely not a follow-up. This is some sarissa cuttings. Look at this cool little vial he's got it in. And my broski Jay, he is a chemist, and I don't know specifically the field because right off the bat, if he's a chemist, it's already above my head. But this is so cool. It's like a graduated cylinder type of thing. It's got the measurements on the side. What a great idea for sending stuff. Definitely be able to reuse those. Laura and I consider starting an Etsy page, with the easier to root things, succulents and things of that nature on the smaller scale with like hand painted pots that she would get into. But with Stella being 8 months, all you mothers out there, you don't exactly have time to yourself, let alone clear enough thought to get your artistic creativity crack-a-lacking. So no pressure on it, but if we ever find that we're getting bored, that's something we'll do with our extra time. That hasn't been the case. And this is a fresh begonia, dwarf pomegranate cuttings. Boom, soaking in water. These weren't supposed to get here till Monday. It's Saturday, so I'm glad that they didn't spend too much time in the mail. Now what we got here? Oh, this is a pomegranate seedling for show. Wow, that's definitely what exploded. Doing my best to not pull a Viking. Oh! I swear. Evil eye. I have a few Greek clients, and anytime they compliment Stella or I compliment Stella or anything like that, they're always like, toy, 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 evil eye. So, anytime I swear I jinx myself, no, I say it. So that's pretty cool. These are dwarf pomegranate. So I had my first large pomegranate outside. If you didn't catch that video, just go a couple back on the latest videos and you'll see my best, most developed pomegranate tree that I can't really take full credit for because another broski of mine just said he didn't have time for it and gave it to me. Tell you what, I feel extremely fortuitous that I didn't want to say lucky because I hate the word lucky because I feel like you make your own destiny and create things and make stuff happen. So if fortuitous is a different word than lucky and it's all positive and I use it in the right context, then I am very fortuitous to have such great broskies and friends out there. I don't really know any other time in my life where people with a similar interest have, you know, kind of come together, never having met each other, send things, send words of encouragement, words to help from previous experiences. So if you're just getting into bonsai, you want to put a channel out there, don't be intimidated, just go for it because the range of support's amazing. And typically bonsai people, you know, they come from very educated walks of life, really successful, intelligent people. And that's definitely what I've noticed. So it's really cool. It's like being in a little bonsai college at all times because you can learn from all these people. And you won't learn much from me other than this is how you start it. This is what I'm doing. It worked or it didn't work. But hopefully we'll get there someday. So this is really cool. So I'm going to get, actually I'll leave this for a couple weeks. I'm going to pop this under my grow light. I'll get these cuttings aired out, check them out. And why don't we get outside and see what I've organized so far today. All right, so before we get outside, I just want to show you these. If you don't recognize them, these are for Cynthia, and I trimmed them off of a huge overgrown hedge that I have in the front right corner of my property. And I just did it because a client had said that if you do it early on, you bring them inside, they bloom, and you get some nice color in the early spring, late winter into your house. And I did so. And I had planned on pruning these after they flowered outdoors and leafed out, and then adding them into a raised tree bed for a nice big lot of cuttings. But it seems like these are starting to root indoors. So how cool would it be if just these cuttings, when I cut them, they were just sticks. You couldn't even tell that they had active buds on them. And then they flowered out, and now we're getting roots. So it'd be really cool if they actually can survive, and I could create new trees from them. These are actually the bases that had no little branches off them, but I didn't want them to go to waste. And they are budding out as well. And you see all those little white dots? Those are roots forming. So I have a few vases around the house of these things, and that would be really a cool thing if I could just do that annually and really build to the collection, because they're really popular up here. And when I'm adding to my tree farm, I like to have a good variety. So yeah. All right. So you see what I'm talking about. I have my thujas, black pines, some Connecticut red pines. This looks like a total cluster fudge, but it's intentional because we have these really tight forests here in Connecticut. And what'll happen is they grow up, and you'll see like 40 foot of trunk and then little tiny poofs of pine on these great old pines. So I wanted to create a forest like that. So I have some Connecticut red pine, some Thuja occidentalis, and a few blue spruce. So it's intentionally like that. And hopefully this year I'll be able to clean up the bottoms, get the canopies raised up, and start my ultimate goal of mimicking a tight Connecticut forest. And some other pines. You see my white pine that is a root over rock that I had Yamadori'd a few years ago. I put it in the world's worst pot for outdoors, so that's going to need a repotting anyways. and I use some workout straps that go to like a TRX cable system that I wasn't utilizing. So I used that instead of wire to get a nice little bend on it. Hopefully that worked. All these I grew from seed. If you're growing evergreens from seed, don't expect much the first few years, but then the rewards will come because you'll be able to manipulate them and train them right from the beginning. You won't have to take a piece of nursery stock or a tree from the woods and then try to make up for lost time. You could just have control from the beginning. So you shouldn't be in a rush when you're doing bonsai anyways. So don't expect them to grow up quickly. Like for example, this Pinus aristata, which pot exploded, we're on year 4, and the height has never been pruned down. So patience is definitely a virtue in this game. This is Laura's Juniper horizontalis, and it looks brown right now because, well, it's been winter, but it'll green up nicely, and it even gets a nice golden color towards the end of the season, which is cool. See this thuja forest. Yeah, so this is 60% organized. I'm going to figure out how to make it flow and get some separation here, but I definitely want to have like species around each other this year. Last year I had a nice addition of these benches, so I got some to be able to spread my trees out a little bit more, but it was just kind of like, oh, there's a maple, there's a birch, there's a pine all over the place. So this year, leveling up, getting it better and better. And I finally got the blueberry frozen. It was frozen in the ground where I had it winterized. Got that up here. This is a flowering viburnum, big white poofy flowers. Just tons and tons of species. So anyways, I am going to go heat up some food. Laura's feeding Stella, and I think Stella is due for a nap, so we're going to enjoy the rest of our Saturday. It's not the sunniest day, but it's 50 degrees in March, and it just feels absolutely great to be outside. So I hope you all are enjoying your early spring, and if you're on the other side of the world, you're heading towards winter, well, you just got to enjoy your summer. So now it's our turn. So please hit that subscribe and notification bell if you haven't already. And I'm Jared Paul, from my family to yours. Cheers.